Imagine this. You're at a cash machine withdrawing some money, and the complete stranger standing right behind you leans in to watch you type your PIN number in. Do you feel that surge of discomfort, that instinctive need to cover the keypad? Congratulations. You already understand the principles behind this Annex A control, data masking. Because if someone can see your sensitive data, they can steal your sensitive data. But here's another question for you. When did you learn to cover your PIN when withdrawing money from the ATM? Maybe you were instructed to protect your PIN before entering it, but more likely you witnessed somebody else doing it and you saw that that was a sensible thing to do. But this is a physical example of data masking. And that's what this particular control is all about. It's about hiding information from prying eyes to limit the exposure of your sensitive or personal data. This might be to comply with legal, statutory, regulatory, or contractual requirements, but it's also because it protects you and it protects your reputation. So what does this particular control actually ask for? What does it state? Well, it simply states that data masking shall be used in accordance with the organization's topic-specific policy on access control and other related topic-specific policies and business requirements, taking applicable legislation into consideration. So to be clear, data masking prevents unauthorized personnel from reading information or data. And just note here, it mentions topic-specific policy on access control and other related topic-specific policies. So there's a few things in here that we need to consider. But let's try and bring this to life a little. How about the developer who creates a new approach to logging into a system, but the password and the PIN entered without masking or disguising the information at all. So when someone types in their password, it's clear for all to see. Or how about the software company that copies real customer data into a test environment? No anonymization or pseudo anonymization, which we'll talk about later, and no masking. Developers, contractors, third parties, third-party testers all have access to real data. No hacking needed, access not handled well, and essentially access to this data handed to them on a silver platter. Or how about the private school that stores parents' payment card details in a spreadsheet, unprotected, fully visible to anyone who gains access to that spreadsheet? Bank numbers, expiry dates, CVV codes, all of it emailed freely across the school and even accessible to external IT teams. Hundreds of families put at unnecessary risk. One spreadsheet, one mistake, one disaster waiting to happen. But note that I said earlier with this particular control, it talks about having the consideration for applicable legislation as well. So it depends on where you are, what the jurisdiction you are in, but you need to consider things like GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. You need to think about within the UK, the Data Protection Act, and CCPA as well as many, many others. So you need to do a little research there and find out what the legislation in your region states about data masking. But just keep in mind, without data masking, unauthorized personnel could read, copy, alter, sell, or misuse personal data. So if you process credit cards, salaries, medical information, national insurance numbers, bank details, login credentials, financial information, legal information, this control is absolutely necessary. It's a new control. It's a control that has been introduced into ISO 27001, 2022 for a very good reason. So what will the auditor be looking for with this particular control? Well, the auditor is going to, first of all, look for a topic-specific policy on access control. It's mentioned right there in this particular control. So make sure that you have that policy in place and that it references data masking. They're also going to want to look at access rights and how you've managed access rights. They're going to want to see that link between access rights and roles and responsibilities and segregation of duties as well. They're going to want to see that you've thought about data classification and that you have a data classification scheme. So that might look like a lowest level of publicly available information. The next level above that might be internally protected, and the next one above that might be confidential, and then the one above that at the very highest level might be highly classified, for instance. But it's down to you to determine what that classification of information is. And if you're unsure about that, there is another video that we did around this, and that is Annex A 5.12. So go and take a look at classification of information. The auditor is also going to want to see data protection policies and make sure that you've got those in place as well. And that's in particular concern around the protection of PII, personal identifiable information. So the auditor is going to ask about that, undoubtedly. They'll also ask, while we're talking about other policies, they may ask about your clear desk and clear screen policies. So data masking is about hiding information. It's about, surprisingly enough, masking that information. So you might have be able to show them that you have a screen that automatically locks after any period of inactivity, or that you have privacy screens, those pieces of flimsy piece of plastic that go on the screens that prevent people from shoulder surfing, looking over your shoulder and looking at information that you're entering. A little bit like they have privacy screens on ATMs. We're going to talk about, just very briefly here, the use of cryptography, and having cryptographic controls in place is something that we talk about in a later Annex A control. But the auditor, undoubtedly, when we're talking about data masking, they're going to ask about the use of encryption. So find out what you've got in place, and make sure that that is suitable, whether that be encryption at rest or in transit. Again, I'm kind of holding back here because I don't want to spoil the later video that we talk about cryptography. The awareness and training is something that the auditor will undoubtedly want to see is in place as well. So make sure that that training and awareness, again, is appropriate to the various different levels in your organization and who needs it. So this is on a need to see or a need to know basis that you should be considering. So your training and awareness should be targeted to the audience, and so that people who are in the development team can see perhaps the quality and assurance team Q&A. They can only see certain parts of the development environment, as opposed to the developers who can see maybe all of it, that kind of thing. So whatever that training and awareness needs to look like, the auditor is going to want to see that you've thought about the kind of training that is required. As ever, the auditor will undoubtedly want to see that if there are any issues, any concerns that you have, that these are identified, discussed in management review meetings, and on your risk register as well. So what do you need to do with this control? Well, I've already told you what the auditor is going to be looking for, so let's start there. Let's go and take a look at your access control policy. Go and make sure that your access control policy talks about data masking. And whilst you're looking at your access control policy, go and take a look at those other policies as well. So go and take a look at your clear desk, clear screen, your data protection policies. So those policies that you need, maybe even your physical security policies, which talks about PIN codes on the door to entry into your office or into any classified areas. Go and also take a look at the roles and responsibilities, the access rights, and think about segregation of duties. This again links very closely into training and awareness. So you need to know who needs what level of access into the various systems. So does everybody within your finance team need full access to all the menu options, the cash in, the cash out, for instance, the ability to raise invoices, to pay money into your bank, and also to take money out and move money into other accounts? Does everyone need that level of access? If not, think about segregation of duties. Think about masking some of those menu options. That's data masking. Go and revisit your data classification scheme and see what data must be screened. This is a good time to go and take a look at your ROPA as well, the records of processing activities, because that will also help you determine what information should be fully visible and to whom, because the ROPA will tell you what data you actually process. Again, I'm going to mention this idea of encryption, data at rest, and encryption of data in transit. Speak to your IT teams. Find out what encryption is in place. How is data masked from prying eyes? And encryption is a form of that masking as well. And go and speak to your development teams. This is obviously only applicable if you have development teams in your organization. Go and speak to them to ensure that test environments are separated from live or pre-prod, pre-production environments as well. And ask them about how they use data in their test environments. Is it dummy data? Is it anonymized? How is data masked in an environment that is used for testing or for development? So that's all I'm going to say around this particular control. There's a lot to it, data masking, but here's the truth. Data only needs to be visible to the people who genuinely need it. That's ultimately what this is about. But one exposed field, one unmasked spreadsheet can undo years of trust in a single moment. Implementing Annex A 8.11 isn't about bureaucracy. It's about protecting people, protecting reputations, and protecting you and your business. So remember to mask it, minimize it, control it, because if they can't see it, they can't steal it. I hope that's been helpful. As ever, I'm Gary from Consultants Like Us, where we offer compliance without complexity. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a share. You never know who you're helping. You'll most definitely be helping me, so thank you in advance. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What have you seen done well with this particular control? It's a new control, so what do you think of it? Is it necessary? Is it a step too far? But thank you for watching. As ever, don't forget to subscribe as well, you know, because we've got other videos coming and there's a lot of videos yet to come within these Annex A controls. But until then, thank you again and stay well, stay safe and stay connected. All the best. Bye-bye.